were new, who were new. It was a wonderful meeting.
Yeah.
And then every year we've been coming. So this is the 12th batch of Emory students. And they've been here for 4 months studying Buddhist philosophy, Tibetan language, Tibetan culture. And now for 3 weeks they've been doing research on different Tibet-related topics. So emptiness, Tibetan medicine, Tibetan politics, many, many, many different interests.
Yes.
So we have 4 more days, and everyone said we must go see you.
Oh.
So we're so glad we could
thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say that this program is run with the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics from the very beginning.
Yes.
So our faculty are Emory, American faculty, and IBD Tibetan faculty.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know this, but His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a professor at Emory.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate. Yeah, very, very, very fortunate. Yeah. So a few of the students had research-related questions.
Okay.
One came yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Well, and asked about Buddhism and science.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have time to take questions.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hi, I'm studying, for my independent research, I'm studying calm abiding, or Shine in Tibetan, and how to cultivate calm abiding. So I was wondering if you could speak about the relationship between ethics, concentration, and wisdom, specifically focusing on concentration, or Shine, and how it's needed to attain enlightenment.
It's a big topic.
Okay. I think first I want to say thank you very much. Come here or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you. 당보텔라. 디 수준대 가르 띵인지데 시럽을 잡아시으스래.
네, 그 신행 거지야 또 심죽체주스. 근데 타라. 더 토백이 그소리. 체지엔 간지를 되는 거. 나는 델리아 또 스탄다. ethics and concentration wisdom 디. 저 잡았습니다.
자, 야부 사람은 시세도 많다. 마신이 고주다 그게 계시주요. 과주 계시네 야부. 마신이 예선부터 가서 지당기 추림사디. 맞지도 지시야 담배 제자셔. 가서 가서 이제 누슬라고 말이다. 라바 수림 일하면서 엔지 분배낭이야 가서 취해가 나시 지시. 그봐. 아니 라바 가서디 라바 띵이지 라바데 추디 배 당어에 나시. 추디다 저 장마를 쓰지. 수림디 안에다지 분배낭이야 추루샤바나시 저거를 듣는지. 라바 띵이지 라바 스두사나 분배낭이야 아니 예베데 추디 장미이나시. 아니 라바 시르비 라바 스두사나 추티 나놀이야 아니 배 가르쳐다지 송에 샤바나시 이렇지. 데르지 서어. 다지 가르쳐 지용 찬디 과르체.
Well, more than what I could tell on the spot, obviously you have eminent scholars or geishas that you work with, and probably it would be in your best interest to dialogue with them and then sort of get to the bottom of these things. Just on top of the mind, generally there's analogy that is used, talking about the 3 trainings, in ethics, concentration and wisdom. That is the importance of a container, like so the ethics would be a vase that could contain water, and then concentration in connection with that is that water is pristine, sort of clean, and then wisdom is that as a result of there being water and it's being clean, that reflections can occur, wisdom. So there is a way of presenting that way, as a sort of perspective.
The thing is, the labasari should get him shadi or some. And in a Zuka, the Sada Lamsi, Yabe, Kashude, Jidangi, Azujin Jigdimbe, and Jikashu Lambda, and Jidan Debe Lamkad, and this young Drogane, Kolia, and the same Zijiki Kashuda, Nuber of the Shujication Chadi orders. And the Indusanda, things in the Jik or the Zijin with the Lucy Indusane, and the Zizi Cajum Shuchadi order. Zizi Chumina, and a yard Karshalam rebate in the dry. They may have been, and that on the Kashraji. Same give Kashra, Nuber of Jig dream to me, the young daughter the Karahu Shadi. They understand the things in the Cajum Shuchadi.
So out of this, probably can be highlight the importance of concentration, using that particular term. It is of tremendous significance when it comes to effectively and practically approaching the different stages of the path. And we talk about the levels and the path. And in fact, both in mundane or worldly context, as well as sort of supermundane or the elevated spiritual context, concentration understood from the point of view of cultivating, developing the cultivation of one-pointedness of mind is of, it's imperative. Because in fact, the very foundation, the very basis for these whatever steps, constructive steps you take in a worldly context or spiritual context, you have to have the basis of the one-pointedness of mind, or the basis of where being able to focus is at will, at ease. And so, which is to say, the ability or the energy of the mind can be driven into whatever you will to focus on. So the ability of the mind. So from that point of view, yes, it has a very important place.
Thank you.
I'm doing research on the process of generating yogic direct perception. And so my question was, in the process of generating this direct perception, the individual first has to get at their object through the use of a generic image. And then through meditation, the clarity of this image gradually increases, but at the same time, its obstruction to the direct perception of the actual object is diminishing. So I'm wondering, what's the cause for the shift of to a lack of reliance on the generic image?
Lack of what?
Oh, lack of reliance on the generic image. When the meditation familiarizes the individual with the image rather than the object itself.
Can you simplify? Sure. Yeah.
Only the yogic direct perception.
Yeah.
Would
you like that?
That wouldn't help.
Maybe not.
Too lofty for me. The direct yogic direct perception.
간다저디
데이터 내주 가리네야 되네. 가리네 데 통토백 서로 근데 그 가서 강계함 시발정하는 수단데 통토야.
오케이
강계한테네 마가와 통토백 되게 다 난줄 기 줍줍
내종을 숨스 내종을
난줄을
내종을 숨스
모델 통해 가려야지.
내종을 숨 되는 가지
지심주 지었으라 근데 이거 막 시시라 하고
You don't understand. I know that 내종을 숨스더라. 내종을 숨. 내종을 숨.
지도 간서 냉어부터 심주 지성어부터야 되니 곰기티념도 터터터 저지 이해도 되지.
Direct reception.
다티
데드 좀 더.
아직 곰도브지 키하고는 곰배도브지 좋아. 아직 조디지 가르에 아주 지시야 답이 가르에다 지 아주 뒤균지 bên 시절이 내려 심이나 아니 7월이야 가르 시절을 지 제세
데는 번지 통해 줘발
다 되게 자만이 되냐 데 고민도데 렌두산 7월에 지 시절을 지 제세 될 럽종 전에 아니 가르에 근데 토네 않고 가르에 시럽을 지게야 여러 봐 아니 양 곰도를 때는 지 가르야 이제 시럽 나네 수차요 그래서 가서도 지 장경하게 가서 지 시럽지 나네 수차요 그래서 근데 중요해요 왜 계시요 근데 인두산에 아니 가서다 다티조디 가서에 당기 콘슈네시 지 가서에 신에디수 계속 쉽잖아요 the basic 와 아니 신에지 엔데네 마지 가서에 라통치 다 간다지 신라니 부들이야 제가 차대게 그렇지 이럴 좀 만들어서 다 들으지 다 간다지 그래
대차도 누구한테 저 세르세르 레죠 근데버티 예비직 세르친다 야면에 봐 됐다
다 예비직 사마라다 지단게 다이 아주 제마스롱다 이제 예사오다 간다 꼭 니버지 예사오다 니버지 예사오다
so just
그 나한지 예비 인자 고티 흉고를 흉버를 봐 비비나 거기 가서도 지세 저러다
so generally around this topic and there is on a more common and relative level when you look at certain relative context of learning about something trying to discover about something you have the knowledge based on external things you became informed you sort of came the sort of know-how came about but that is actually more sort of on the superficial side and whereas so it should be said that the real sort of breakthrough know-how could come about through meditative familiarity that is developing the inner potential to have more in terms of talking about direct perception and so from that point of view that cultivating the inner ability to have a more reliable know-how and but for that you have to say that it is not some sort of new way of knowing that you have developed. The potential to know or to perceive has been developed probably that might be the way to approach.
Okay.
Better than, okay?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think all the difficult questions.
Okay, this next one's not so hard. Sam?
I'm studying Tibetan Buddhist poetry, and I'm wondering what you think the relationship is between poetry and Buddhist practice.
냥아를.
No, 남의 냥아.
어디 가서.
냥아도 냠랭이.
와우. 냥아도 냠네. 지당기 가르쳐야지. 단도스를 치 응외벽이 지금 제도 컨디션이나 티직낭 따지 된 담배 제도서 가서 지금 낭sem기 제도 그러지들 독터미야 그렇지 지시하로다
독터미야
드린 주사는 나마상게 베지 배 어저차 그 가서 낭sem의 제도 세란다도 연대는 세란다도 디기디 가서야 되지 망부지 제주시 예비 인도산에 아주 진행하는 조직 지도기 나버르디 마 되야로 시에도와 되는 인도산에 에너지 계시 된 담배 지도로 되게 하고 있습니다. 아니 신의 지 가르쳐 된 담배 냥아서는 장도 단다지 지 이완 초토베 진행하러 지용 토야로지 드르지도와 드르지산티 주제되네 가수다 나 잡아서 드르지다 시라시 시험
maybe it could be said this way. We talk about the external, beauty of things, external objects, and so probably from the Buddhist perspective, there is no comparison between what we perceive as external beauty of material things to that of the internal beauty of the qualities of the mind. There is simply nothing to compare. And so from that point of view, when we talk about the internal beauty of the mind, is talking about the versatile, possibilities of profound qualities of the mind, and now that such qualities that you feel internally, mentally, and the external manifestation or the vehicle of manifestation would be through, in other words, of the poetry. And as such, if within the profound beauty of the qualities of the mind, so you are able to cultivate more vividly those profound qualities of the mind, and then there is a better chance for you to be able to sort of articulate it, to bring it about, to visual image of that, and to the extent that that it could become the vehicle for an expression of the ultimate beauty, ultimate profundity, that magnetizing potential or possibility of the mind. So I think it's talking in relationship to the practice.
Mm-hmm. May we ask another, or just
Yes, please. One.
one more?
Yeah.
Okay. Micah, or whichever, you guys decide.
Your Holiness, this question is not for my research. It's
Okay.
just out of personal interest as a
Mm.
Westerner
Mm.
who practices Buddhism.
Mm.
I'm I'd like to ask what your impressions are of Western Buddhists and what you think the challenges and opportunities they face going forward are.
다 가르쳐라. 다 지당 가르쳐다. 또 누셔버지. 엄마 지 가르쳐 나바 상계베 지 백그라운드 강가 매겨르지 봐.
네네.
다 로망 베르미야. 지 로규다 지 가르쳐 감정으로다 안 가르쳐다 지 냠뇨잔 매겨르지다 사브르 차인 거 알아. 가르쳐다 지 신이 베겨르지 렌체 지 나 베겨르지 렌체 지 샤저로다. 베겨르지. 근데 가르쳐다 디토르 체인주스타네 야고지 나버데 우마지 람룩스에 대진라메 문에트네 아지 균제르지 가슈레지 제베 토네 드라르지 고랑 가사버지 고 우만 룩스엔 파메 마메니지 룩스에르지 베데 룩스에 제드라디 슈체르지 마도베 야지 균젠다양 니룩제스 다르디 디스니누 차리 디 추안 차비나 아니 아버지다 차리 어느 정도스 이제 more 가스르다지 progress 가스 야겐드라다 아니 아직 된다 뭐든 냐리하고 가스르지 현대민들 이게 가스르 고팅 사머지 용 되게 정도 다이미니 초진 시합이네 가스르지 누저기 지당기 지소아제 안다는 지지 용제 안 대단 제베지 더줍제 대조다야지 나바상게베다 본 제외 지가 나바상게베 최대한 대단 제외가 지 가르쳐다 지 더줍지 망고슬레 인두산티 버룰이야 뇽지차 디스칼라 카브차리 소르직체 안다는 지지당가 저 누저 상로 가르쳐지 장왕담 안다는 지 가르쳐 yang 가르쳐다 사르트웨르리아 안 메바쳔베 인두산 양고 나바상게 비춰야 되고만에 딱고 람룩스르시에 되네 양고 가르쳐 가셔야지 람룩딘 로모드 서비스다 양고 가져 사브자데 양 디버루들이야 트래디셔널 데나 양디 가르쳐 소셜로 디머지 요한데 디스칼라 하브지 어디기스 다들 내 돈에 양 직세 인두산 다 간다지 챌린지 방법을 요한데 이게 수세 다이네 까지 차네 고 지체네 new era somewhere 나머선 그 드리지 차도 알지 용벌성도스
Well, there being many possibilities, but as in from the point of view opportunities, given that as Westerner, not having any Buddhist background, historically speaking, culturally speaking, and experience-wise, and maybe the way we sometimes put it in Tibetan is like you are having like new birth, birth in the Buddha Dharma, sort of thing. Born into, being born into the Buddha Dharma. So from that point of view, that probably you have the advantage of the benefit of not bound by a culture, not bound by a custom, and that it's like sort of almost like kind of determined sort of thing. The way is paved, and you just follow the motion, and as sort of it's set, and so instead of that, probably you have the opportunity to reason, to approach it with logic, reason, as opposed to sort of kind of for generations it has been laid out for you. It's part of the culture, the life, and everything. So you just go along with it. And so you have the benefit because, the approach with the reason, with logic, and getting to what's the real, meaning, point, that is important. So in order to make a more effective progress, in order to be able to get the real meaning, and so that way that is in your favor. So probably the challenge, in general, the challenge part is, well, you come from a different society, different culture, and so you have the habit of that society, you have the habit of that culture, and a certain strong sort of perception, the way of perceiving, cultural view, if you would, and habit of that. And so it may be, a challenge to break through, and that being sort of fixated on that aspect, and is a challenge maybe to break through. Then also there is the other challenges. Again, there is the issue of freedom. There's a freedom, and then there's a sense of you be the one who come up with a sort of new set of ways. It's like a pioneer in that sense, and like that the opportunity to introduce a new form, and then that either that the importance of tradition get sort of put down, importance of tradition, or conflict with the importance of tradition. So in that way, because necessary, that just simply because the idea of freedom, you feel carried away to come up with something new is not necessarily better. And so taking these perspectives of account, maybe there is an opportunity to, say, to gradually cultivate or develop a wholesome, a new era.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.